monsters will survive on eBay and in this economy. LOWBALL Kingz episode 7. We are 1 day late because it is really bad right here where we live in California. It's actually getting flooded. I had to help my parents shovel dirt into like sandbags to prevent in case my parents' house gets flooded. So we were busy with that all day yesterday. It was kind of like out of nowhere. But it's all situated now, and we're 1 day late, but we made it, for the week. So this episode 7, and the title of today's video is Only Monsters Will Survive on eBay. And we're going to explain on how to be a monster when it comes to eBay today. But first, we wanted to do the giveaway for last week. And if you want to enter for next week's giveaway, all you have to do is comment 3 eagle emojis, and you're entered to win. So last week's giveaway winners is wait what? Wait what? Question mark. It's W8 what question mark and JNN Midwest Sales. And JNN Midwest Sales actually always comments, so I remember that name. I like calling. We're gonna switch off on who picks like the winners every week, and when he said it, I remember that person. So shout out to them. You guys won. Email me, comment down below, and I'll send you guys my email, and we'll get your address, send you the items. So also guys, we're not making any money from this podcast. We're not even monetized on here. The only way we could possibly make money and what we're trying to build here is a community of actual people that are trying to, be serious with eBay. So we built a Facebook group and we have about 14 people in there right now, including Collin and I. And we're just sharing what we do every single day. Last few days we've been a little busy with the storm. So we haven't been quite active, when it comes to our personal YouTubes and on that Facebook group. But we've been sharing and keeping them posted with what we got going on, and everyone else adds on there. So if you guys are interested in joining the Facebook group, you have to pay $24.99 down below in the Patreon, and you get access to the full hour podcast. This is only 30-minute segment. So I don't want to take up too much time on the podcast. So the first thing that we have right here is how to be an eBay monster. If you don't want to be an eBay monster, what you have to do is you have to complain all the time, basically. And I feel like if you're complaining all the time, you're just not going to be a monster in life in general. So if you want to go away with that.
Yeah, you can't complain, obviously. And when you start being positive, then that's when all the opportunities are going to come into your vision. Because if you're looking at the glass half empty, then of course, you're going to have... You're not going to see what's there in front of you. Like, most of the success we've had on eBay was literally from seeing what we can do and then planning and attacking. But it wasn't about, complaint. It wasn't about what we can't do. It was focused on what we could do. And so you focus on what you could do. And for most people, that's just starting, getting those first few items. And then from there, it's just cranking it up, trying to get to trying to see what opportunities you have, where else can you get items, and so on. But if you're going to be complaining, if you have an issue in the beginning and you're focused on that, then that's where your focus is going to be, and it's not going to be on moving the ball forward and making more and more and more. Right?
Yeah, I think a lot of people I've noticed that I've done deals with, because we buy a lot of items. Sometimes they don't go our way, and sometimes we get fucked. And sometimes you spend $1,200 or $1,000 on something, and it's not what you thought, and it's garbage, and then it just sits there. I'm not gonna go and complain to the guy that I got the items off of because I didn't make the right decision or it just didn't work out my way. Because it's not gonna work out your way every single time. It's just not. Every day you're gonna have a little bump on the road. Every day you're not gonna get your way. And if you complain, it's just going to make the job harder. I had this guy buy some items off me, and he was like, oh, some of these items aren't going to work, and what the hell am I going to do with them? Like, if I list them and they want to return them, then I got to call eBay and try to get an appeal, and that's going to take an hour. I'm like, bro, you know how many return requests I get? And what I'm doing right now, because I just moved addresses, I'm just sending people their money back if they open a return request, because it's gonna be hella hard for me to go get the mail. Yeah. And honestly, like, that item, it's pretty much done. Unless it's like $100 or something, I'm not gonna go and pick it up from my old address and get like the homeowner involved. So I'm just not even I'm just gonna send their money back. It's lost money. I lost money on the shipping. It's a negative, and it is what it is. And there's always gonna be people that are gonna be scamming you on there, bro. There's always gonna be something where people are literally just gonna cross you on eBay. I'm not gonna go out of my way to complain and cry about it and call eBay about it because I already know what the hell's gonna happen. I'm not gonna win, and it's whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. And I'm not gonna waste more time complaining and calling you and telling you about it, or like telling my dad about it. I'm not gonna tell no one about it. Like it already irritated me enough that happened. I don't want to go and bring it up again, give it more attention, because now it's really a problem if I tell you, and then I tell him, and then I tell that, and then I call eBay. That's when it becomes a problem. When I just give people a refund, which is going to be the outcome regardless, you just cut that shit short, give them the refund, and you move on and buy more items, sell more items, keep it moving forward, because that's going to happen no matter what. And if you can't deal with that, don't sell on eBay, straight up. If you're going to be a little wuss and you're going to complain about stuff and you're not ready to handle that kind of stuff, and you can't handle someone just crossing you like that, then honestly you shouldn't be selling on eBay. We're keeping it real today.
Yeah, a lot of the things that like I used to complain about and stuff that a lot of eBay resellers like to complain about it's really what it is a lesson to be learned. And you could either learn the lesson and move on, because we all have a certain amount of attention and time in the day. We all have the same amount of time, and we all have different amounts of attention, but there's a limited amount. So to make the most amount of money on eBay, you have to direct the most amount of time and the most amount of attention to getting the most items up, acquiring the most items, and selling the most items. So the more time you spend and the more energy you're spending on complaining about something that's already a lesson you already learned, there's no reason to keep focusing on it if you've already learned the lesson. So like it comes down to time per item, really. That's what it comes down to. And so any time that you're exhausting on complaining, your whole energy is focused on something negative, which is just gonna throw you off. You know, it's gonna make your day terrible. And like just like someone that like I learned, like if you have like, you know, a certain addiction, one of the ways to get over that is just try to direct your focus onto something else. Yeah. And so if you notice that eBay is becoming a negative experience for you, that might mean that you're complaining a lot, and that might mean that your focus is on the negative parts that are happening. Because I mean, you know, you could sell 10 items, and then one buyer complains about one, and it's like, oh, dude, eBay's not worth it. You could be like, oh, dude, eBay's not worth it anymore. You know, you could forget about all the success you just had because one thing could, or something. Yeah, you could. So that could throw you off, and yeah, it's a waste of time. But we all have emotions, and we all let it get to us sometimes. Oh, yeah. But at the end of the day, the best way is to not let your emotions influence what your move is going to be.
Especially with that situation, you kind of have to almost be emotionless, which for some people are just really emotional. Yeah. Like I try to stay grounded no matter what. If someone, I have to get really mad in order to get really mad. You know, like I'm not that kind of guy that just gets pissed off with just any little thing. But I know there are some people that their temper is really short. Mm-hmm. Some people will like even try to message back the buyer like, I know what you're doing and this and that, and like I don't even entertain that. And if you can't control yourself to that extent, you honestly probably shouldn't be doing this, because it's like customer service. Like you're literally gonna be like dealing with people like that all the time. This is gonna keep happening. The more items you sell, the years are gonna go by. That will happen no matter what. If you can't handle that, if that's something that's really like holding you back and really pissing you off consistently, then you know, why do that?
Yeah, exactly. And like, if you want to learn, because if you want to make a lot on eBay, you gotta be a leader, and you gotta be someone that's not willing to be on the norm. And so that comes down to taking responsibility for everything that happens, no matter what it is, whether it's an argument, whether it's an issue with the buyer, whether it's your lack of getting more items, lack of listing items, whatever it is. If you're not satisfied with what you're doing right now, you need to realize that there's something that you can do about it. And if you're complaining about it, then what you're doing is you're trying to shift the control off of you and you're trying to put it on something else so you have an excuse to not do it.
Yep.
A lot of people like to do that. And so the moment that you can decide that every time something goes wrong, every time you're in an argument, no matter what it is, because anytime you put the blame on someone else, you're not going to make any progress for yourself. So anytime you can just understand that there's something you could have done that could have been different, then that's when you're going to make a little bit of progress. And you might run into the same issue again, but then you'll tweak it a little more the next time, and you'll just keep learning. But the person that always complains is the person that never learns.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely. Yeah, that's a good one right there.
Yeah.
And I just feel like society in general, people are always complaining. Listen, like, because we're talking, you just said that if you want to make a lot of money, most people in America don't make a lot of money. There's a 1% for a reason. Yeah. The people that are in the 1%, they usually are kind of in the same page. Yeah, there are people that are assholes that are in the 1% that just have a crazy job or a crazy business idea and they're assholes and they're terrible people. But for the most part, I'd like to say that most people that got in there from nothing, that came from like nothing and worked their way up to get in there, most of the time they don't create excuses for nothing. Whatever happens, good or bad, is because of what they did, and they don't bullshit, and they don't put blame on anything else. Like right now, in my head, the way I think, the president has absolutely no control with how I live my life right now. Exactly. Whether it's a Republican or a liberal president or a Democrat, that is not going to change how much money I make this week, because the only thing that can dictate what I make this week is what I do.
Yeah, exactly.
With my actions.
But that is to
a certain extent.
Yeah. Because like, remember back when you're in the oil field, that the president potentially could influence.
No, yeah, but now we're talking about with a business, it's totally different. If you are like when you have your own business, it's totally different than when you have a job. When you have a job, you're controlled completely by your employer. Back in the day, I used to really not like working where I used to work at, because they didn't take me seriously. I had the curly hair. They looked at me like as some party kid, right? Yeah. Which I thought I was completely capable of maybe running the fucking shop if I had the opportunity. But no one, even now, I bet you like, fucking Dave, who knows what the hell he's doing, you know? Yeah. But it would piss me off because they would cut my hours really short compared to other workers that were just more serious. Like I'm goofy and I play around a lot, but I get shit done, you know? And there they obviously wouldn't see that. And my paycheck was dictated on what the employer thought of me. Yeah. So I didn't like that. Yeah. Like if I make a lot of money, it's because of me. If I don't make a lot of money, if I fuck around for a whole week and I go do this and that, and I'm spending and I'm not putting work into eBay and I don't make a lot of money, it's because of me. Yeah. So we're in the context of if you're doing eBay, because this is about eBay. Yeah. So you can no matter who the president is and shit, we can control this shit for sure.
Yeah, that's the thing about eBay is you're kind of a little bit more outside of the matrix a little bit, where you can, put your success on yourself rather than whoever you're working for. And so knowing that, the more time that you spend learning, not complaining, understanding that anytime you have an issue, that there's something to complain about. Like I remember a lot of times going out to thrift stores, flea markets, and coming home with nothing. And I would complain about it. And then I remember, this was back when I was on the same thing. I was making maybe a couple $1,000 a month for a couple years. And that, to me, I was satisfied, but I always wanted more deep down. Yeah. And I would always complain about, I wouldn't really complain to people, but I would just complain in my own mind about, coming out. I would go to drive out 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and there wouldn't really be shit there. And so I'd be like, damn, this place sucks, blah, blah, blah. I'm not finding nothing. Yeah. I'm not finding shit. And I feel like the moment I decided that I was just gonna keep going, and I'm not gonna limit myself on how far I drive, what places I'm willing to go, and just keep going. And anytime I have something to complain about, I'll do something about it rather than just complain about it. And that was when like real progress was made. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like a lot of people are putting a lot of attention, and especially when it comes to eBay, where it shouldn't be. Like sometimes people are over here complaining about, so let's say for example, maybe you get late to the flea market. It's 8 in the morning, and you get there. It's like, oh, it's bullshit. There's nothing here. This and that. There's nothing left. Well, I bet you there was a lot of stuff there at 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta look in the mirror and see what's going on. Because right here I wrote something down too. And it was about so yeah, we already talked about that kind of. But whatever happens because of your actions.
Yeah.
You know. What is your why?
Yeah. What is your why?
Okay. All right, guys. So the next thing to be an eBay monster or a monster in life, because I feel like we're up there with monsters, but we're not where we want to be. But why are we doing this? Why the hell are we doing this? Why are we getting up every single day? It's not for money. For me personally, it's not for money. And if it's only for money, if you're only doing this for money, it's not going to work out, honestly, because I think money is badass, but that can't just be the sole purpose, because you have to get up and grind 6 days a week, and if you're just doing it for the money, you're going to be pretty miserable. So I think you have to figure out why you're doing this, why you're getting up every day, why you're working so damn hard in order to have that in the back of your mind so you keep going, because you need more than that to be dedicated completely to when it comes to eBay and actually make it full-time and actually change your life with this. Because if you're just trying to make $2,000 a month, you don't need to be doing anything that we're saying on here. You can just go buy a couple items a month and you're good. You can complain all you want. You can blame everything on everyone, and you can still make your $2,000. But if you really want to maximize how much money you make, you can't be complaining. Everything that happens is your fault, good or bad. And why are you doing this? Collin, why are you doing eBay? What's your long-term thing? Like, what's your ultimate goal when it comes to eBay? What gets you up in the morning?
The main thing that I love about eBay that keeps me going on eBay is that I have freedom, because I could just never picture myself working a job.
Yeah.
And so I see eBay as just one of the few opportunities that I've seen that allows you to not have a job and have freedom and make money without having to conform to a certain company's ways or a certain person's ways.
Yeah.
So freedom is a huge thing. And then also I think eBay, one thing about eBay that keeps me going is that I don't have any limit. Like, there's no limit.
There's no fucking ceiling.
There's no limit. And the idea of having like a set rate of my time, because I only have so much time. I'm only going to work for, you know what, when I'm 60, that's only another like 40 years or so. So knowing that there's going to be a set amount of time, and then once I'm done with that, I would have like a little retirement and that's it, and barely make it by. That's not freedom to me. So it's really about freedom to me. And I think eBay, it's an extreme opportunity. And another thing about your why is, like, when you want to find your passion and you want to find like what you want to do, you have to start asking yourself questions about like what it is you want, how much time are you willing to put in, how much effort are you willing to put in? Because, you know, a lot of people, most people, they want to be rich. They want to have everything that you see on Instagram. They want to have all the nice stuff.
Yeah.
But that all comes with the sacrifice. Every dollar you make, you're gonna have to you're gonna have to sacrifice something somewhere. Whether that's time with your family, time with some other hobby you have. There's a sacrifice that has to be made. So when you ask yourself what it is that you truly want and what you're willing to give up for it, then you'll know exactly. You'll have a better idea of what your path is. Because at this point, like me and you, we've been basically willing to give up a lot just to see our eBay succeed and to grow.
Yeah.
Because this growth wouldn't have happened if we didn't sacrifice a lot of other stuff.
We're willing to do whatever it takes at this point.
Yeah.
I'm willing to do whatever it takes at this point to get to where we want to get.
Yeah.
But continue.
Yeah, and someone that's willing to do whatever it takes, that's someone who is a threat.
Yeah.
Because like when I look at, certain people, I think, is this guy a threat? Is this guy a threat? And the people who are threats are usually the best resellers. So.
A monster. eBay monster.
It's a monster.
Only monsters that are surviving.
Yeah. To be a monster, you have to sacrifice certain things. And to be a hate to say it, but a loser, you also have to sacrifice certain things too. So this goes down to picking what you wanna sacrifice.
What side you want to be on? You could be on both.
Yeah,
no one's limited to where you could be. It's up to you.
Yeah,
I've been on both.
Yeah, and going down the monster path, you gotta understand that there's gonna be a lot of time. There's gonna be so much that makes you want to quit, and there's gonna be so many times where you put in effort and you're gonna get nothing out of it. And that's like the biggest companies. They put in a lot of effort with nothing in return until finally one day it rains and it pours.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's dry. It's
dry.
And
speaking of doing whatever it takes, he's probably gonna be watching Juan. So when I had a Mustang, right? That was like a 2018 decked out. Remember that one? Mm-hmm. Hella nice. And I had gotten it off the lot, and I used that when I was in Texas. And I came back and I started doing eBay, and I still had it. And I had that car payment, which it was like $500 a month. But honestly, like that's really nothing to pay. And but really, what it was that I needed like something a little bigger, because the Mustang, you can't fit no items in there. So what I did was I sold that, and I got like a few little cars in between. But I had them for like 2 weeks, remember? And I was just selling them. But basically, I think I paid $4,000 to get rid of the loan, and I had someone else buy it. I had like a dealership buy it, and I got rid of that loan, and I got out of that. But I was driving a 1992 white, extremely long bed van as my daily driver for like 5 months, and I was going to the gym in that. I was picking up girls in that, and I was taking girls on dates. I was going everywhere in that shit. I didn't give a fuck,
Yeah.
Dude, I was doing whatever it took.
Yeah.
And I knew what I needed to buy a cheap car. I bought that car for like $1,800.
Yeah.
And that was before the gas.
Stereotypical kidnapper van.
Yeah, no, that shit was bad. And had the windows tinted all the way. 20-foot van. And I didn't care because I knew I had to do that for a bit in order to, because I had $1,800, I think. No payment, and all I had was fucking space in the back of my van to move items, and I had just got my warehouse.
Yeah.
And doing that for 5 months catapulted my shit extremely, and I did whatever it took in that moment.
Yeah.
Right now, I just got rid of my 1,800 square foot house, and I moved into a fucking warehouse, because I know if I do this for 4 months, it's gonna catapult my shit even more. So I'm willing to do whatever it takes. My buddy Juan, he wasn't willing to drive that van because I offered him that van in payments because he had just gotten wrecked in his car. He wasn't willing to do that. He wasn't willing to do whatever it took.
Yeah.
In that moment, on payments, I was like, dude, just give me $200 a month. You could drive it. Put it under your name.
For the van?
That's a fucking monster deal. Big ass van. You could go hard. And he wasn't willing to do it.
Yeah. And
not everyone has what it takes.
Yeah, and that goes with not caring about what people think. And of course, we're all going to care at some degree about what people think. Otherwise, we would just wake up and go outside with whatever we have on with our pajamas. But
Yeah, we all care,
yeah.
but it depends what you care about,
but,
you know?
Yeah, a lot of people, they have payments on their vehicles. And, you know, if you're spending $1,000 a month over just 3 years, that's $36,000. $36,000.
I need a calculator for that. He's the one with the computer brain, man. I can't even read or write.
Yeah, but a lot of, like I was thinking, like today I was just thinking in my head, I was like, I kind of want to get like a Hellcat or something cool.
Yeah.
Know? Something cool. But then I was thinking like, most people live paycheck to paycheck, and that's because as you make more money, you spend more naturally. That's just how it is.
Yep.
There's so much you could buy. There's so many nice things you could buy. But it comes down to, like, at this point, I have the choice. I could get a really cool car, but after 1 year, I'll make $15,000 less at least, because my payment on a car like that is gonna be a lot.
Yeah.
And the insurance too, all that, and that's just the car alone. That's not even talking about, you know, clothes, like the kind of spending money on people,
outings, you know,
yeah,
doing
my lifestyle. You know, a lot of people, they're going on trips just to like, I mean, I go on trips for my own enjoyment, but you know, a lot of people are doing shit for
the
social
gram.
media, for just to act, just for the status, looking like they're doing something. And the moment that you can tone that down and make your decisions that you genuinely want, and not like the pressure from outside. Like when I first dropped out of school and started on eBay, my mom thought that was a terrible idea. And my mom being one of like my only family members, that meant a lot to me about what she thought about me. And so when I dropped out, that was part of me kind of giving that just that thought of her.
What she thought you were going to be.
What she wanted me to do, that was me giving that up a little bit. And that liberated me a lot and let me do a lot of stuff, and I was able to do so much more progress in my life because I wasn't doing what other people wanted. Because if you're doing something that other people want to do, if you're living your life that way, you're never going to do what you want to do. And you're never going to have passion in what you do. That's just the truth.
Yeah, because let's be honest, some people are making no money and getting by, and they're fucking the happiest people on the planet too.
Yeah.
Because they're doing probably something that they really like.
Yeah.
And it's paying the bills and they're getting by. And that's dope too. So like if you could be doing something that you love, you know, that's badass. Yeah. But here we're talking about being an eBay monster.
Yeah.
So but yeah, going back to that thing, I feel like I got lucky. My dad, all he ever wanted me to be was a fucking business guy.
Yeah.
And I was just groomed from a young age, seeing money being made, being charged checks, and shit moving since fucking I could remember. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I'm kind of just destined to be doing this.
Yeah.
But you're in a different situation. You never saw that at all.
Yeah, I never saw that, and my mom still to this day, she would prefer, she tells me, she says, why don't you ever just go back to school?
Yeah.
And that just goes to show that, like, a lot of people look at careers like a doctor, that kind of stuff, it's a form of status.
Yeah.
And that's, honestly, I was going to school for the money and the status, and I also had, like, I like to lift weights, so that's why I was going to school on that field of physical therapy, but that's not enough, you know, that's not enough. And
$70,000 a year, something like that, starting off, maybe.
Yeah. But something about buying an item, selling it, flipping it, it's something that I've just really enjoyed. And like, I love to go work. I can work all the time. I love doing it. So that's how I've been able to do it this far. Really, it's not like I have an obsession with eBay or the items. It's just I like doing it. I have no problem doing it. And
for example, like. When it used to rain in Texas, when I was working over there, when it rained, all right, guys, there's no work today. I'm sorry. Maybe you'll get like a four hours of pay, but I had a really good job too, though. Like I wouldn't even show up, and they'll give us the 4 hours or 8 hours. Like if you were to drive to the spot and then start training, you get an 8-hour ticket. You charge for 8 hours.
Yeah.
If you don't, I think they just 4. Like I had a good job there, but yesterday I didn't do anything. We just went to go to the dump, right? to dump off stuff.